All right, this is the market review for the week that started on June 9th to Friday, June 13th. As you're seeing here, this is how the price moved for Eurodollar 15-minute time frame. During this week, we had a bank holiday for France and Germany. We didn't have any news on Tuesday. We did have CPI on Wednesday, and then we had core PPI also with unemployment claims on Thursday. And then for Friday, we had consumer sentiment together with inflation expectation. So we did had a week that had a very interesting news event, very strong economic red folder news event. But also on top of that, we had the situation with Iran and Israel, but I didn't see much of that effect on this pair. And also news affects me only to the point where I do not trade. I don't trade during red folder news. And usually if I have a trade running, so let's say we have a news event at 8:30 over there, which is a New York Open. So let's say the core CPI, which was actually on Wednesday, right here. And if I would have had a trade running at this particular moment, so let's say I took a trade right here. This was my trade. 1 to 3 as usual. You can see that that trade would have still be running all up to the 8:30. Now, because we would have had core CPI, of which for me it's not ideal situation, I would not even put a break even. I'll simply close it 15 minutes before the news event. So that's how I usually use news events. I follow them to guide me when and when not to trade, or when should I close my trades. Sometimes when we have speeches, depending on how far away I am from my entry, I may leave it running, but just put a break even, but I will be there to make sure that nothing goes wrong in case of a slippage or something like that. But I don't trade news. So let's look at the chart for Monday. And by the way, this week it was a very slow week for me, even though there was these gigantic moves. Even though there were these gigantic moves during the week, I didn't trade. I only got one trade, and I got that trade on Tuesday that fit the criteria for my trading strategy. But even that trade in itself, as you will see when I'm on Tuesday, it was a loss. But other than that, I didn't get any trade during this week, so I will be going pretty fast with this weekly review. Now let's start on Monday. This line will be a previous day high. This line will be a previous day low. So as you can see, with the holidays, the bank holidays in the Eurozone, the market it was an inside range day. We didn't take any previous day highs, no previous day lows. We just ranged in between. And if you zoom into the chart, you can see that I didn't see any opportunity for me to trade. I didn't see any liquidity taken out. And then maybe a reversal with a reversal signal. There was nothing for me on London session. There was, I think, an opportunity maybe on New York, but even that in itself, there was nothing for me in terms of how I trade that gave me confidence to take any trade for that particular day. So I didn't do anything on Monday because I didn't see anything that resonate with the way that I trade. And I think that's the most important thing as a trader. We need to be able to be patient because our goal is not only just to make profit, but also to preserve our capital. So if you don't see something that really resonate with the way you're trading, don't take a trade, just leave it. So that's what I did on Monday. Now coming on Tuesday, I took a trade that did fit exactly with what I need. With the trade that I took, had all the criteria that I need to see before taking a trade, of which I need to see a sweep, a market structure shift, a sweep of a market structure. I need to see a market structure shift. I need to see an area of imbalance with an order block. So that's why I took this trade for 1 to 3. Now now looking back at it, it was a dangerous trade, and I don't think I'll be taking this sort of trades any longer because we had already taken the previous day low, of which in itself is a major draw on liquidity. Ideally, what I should have done here is after we've had this move, I should have waited for the market to retrace and find resistance on that order block and then continue to push to the downside. So I should have found an imbalance with an order block on this leg to continue to push price to the downside because we had already taken the previous day low. But on this particular day, I just decided to trust the strategy and just see that market structure, liquidity sweep, market structure shift. I saw that imbalance, an order block paired with an imbalance over there. I took a trade and I lost this trade immediately, but it was all right. Now, what is interesting is when it came to the New York session over here, we saw that we had this sweep of liquidity. We saw that we had this market structure shift with that imbalance, But I felt like this was already way too late during the session and during a day for me. I would not be able to monitor this trade. So, and it's also just Tuesday. So, and I've already taken a loss here. So I just decided to leave it. But I do confirm that usually I would take, if this was to happen during London session, I would probably would have taken this trade because everything that I need to see for me to take a trade, they were visible. We had the sweep, we had the market structure shift, we had order blocks here paired with a volume imbalance. So that was Tuesday. Now, so on Tuesday I took this loss, which was a 1% loss actually. Tuesday, Wednesday. Now, from Wednesday, that's where the market started to actually really move away from me because I kept seeing the pattern, but the market never retraced into those patterns deep enough or having a deep enough retracement to continue to push to the upside or to the downside. So I just kept waiting and waiting, but I was never triggered into trades, and I think that's fine for me because again, my first priority is to preserve the capital and then to grow it. So again, on Wednesday, you can see that immediately when the London session opened, we had this sweep of the market structure. And then we had this market structure shift. And then we had this zone, this order block zone. I think this would have been better. An order block that was paired with this imbalance, these areas of imbalance. So I was waiting for price to retrace all the way down here for me to take a trade, but as you can see, we never got there, and most likely because of this news event here, prices retraced a little bit, and then it went all the way up. And I would have not taken this trade anyways, simply because of this red folder news event. So all was fine. Now, coming into the New York Open, when the New York Open opened or the session started, I knew that the market was more likely to come and take out these highs. But I still had to wait to get the pattern that I need to trade that price action. Um, and that was for price to return into this order block over here. That like I just didn't like the way the market was moving. I wasn't confident in this move, even though I knew price is more likely to go up. Knowing where price is most likely to go, that's just great. But you need a confirmation before you act upon what you think price may or may not do. And this is something that I'm also learning myself after years of losing. I am trying my best to calm myself down and not trade my mind, trade what the market or what the chart is showing me at the particular time. So even though I knew that the market is more likely to take out these liquidities, I was not confident with what I was seeing here enough to take the trade. So yeah, that was the price move on Wednesday. No trade on Wednesday also. Going to Thursday. Now coming to Thursday, as you can see, we had this sweep of liquidity over there, and then the market went, when the London session opened, we had this sweep of liquidity down here, and then we had this market structure shift that gave me this order block over here. That was also paired with multiple areas of imbalance. But again, as you can see, price never retraced into these order blocks, and instead it just moved and it continued to move all the way to the upside. So I didn't get anything on London session, but coming again on New York session, I saw this move, but I was waiting for this to be taken out. So when it was taken out, I didn't see any area of imbalance here to pair with my order block. So I didn't, I was already, for me, this is at night. This is, I think it's around 12 a.m., midnight. And yeah, I don't stay on my chart for that late. But as you can see, price went all the way down, retraced into this volume imbalance, and continued to push to the downside. But this was too late again for me, so I wouldn't have taken this trade anyways. So that's why I didn't trade again on Thursday. Now going to Friday. When the London session, the London Open started at 3 a.m., we had this push to the upside, and then we started kind of showing signs of moving to the downside. So I was waiting for this swing to be taken before I start to consider taking a sell. But when this swing was taken and then I looked at the price action, I wasn't confident that anything will come of it. So I just left the London session as is. But again, coming towards New York session, you can see that we took out this previous day low over here, and then we started pushing to the upside. Now, when this move occurred, my expectation was price would come and retrace into this order block over here. Why? Because we had these areas of liquidity, especially this one here that was already taken. So I assumed from here price may want to retrace into this order block and continue to push price to the upside. And I was willing to take this trade, but as you can see, price didn't do that. Therefore, I didn't also trade on Friday. So yeah, that was a week for me. Only a single trade, and it's a 1% loss. Other than that, it was just a waiting game and a patient game, of which I think I won simply because I was able to minimize the losses that I got this week. And also, I learned from that loss, of which I think is the most important thing. Because from this loss now, I can go and recalibrate my trading plan and see how it can perform later. But yeah, that was my week. And until next week, take care.